There it is. Thank you for the great reminder. So I'm going to introduce Miss Rachael Headings, who went Platinum Elite in June. Rachael, welcome. I'm excited to have this wonderful conversation with you. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a different view, stop the share, and we can invite people to talk along the way. But Rachael, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, and then a question for you. So first and foremost, let's just start out with, when were you first introduced to Organo and what caught your eye? What did you like about Organo?
So it was January 2021. Diane did a Zoom for a mentorship I was in and fell in love with her right away. And I guess at that moment, I just jumped in with 2 feet and I was like, I'm all in. I'll do what it takes. She's like, wow, you're really coachable. You're willing. You're ready. I'm like, let's go. Just tell me what to do. And because I really liked the product. I couldn't sell anything or promote anything I didn't love. And so I loved the product and I was like, oh, well, this is going to be easy. And so I've just been enjoying the product myself and sharing my own testimony, posting it on social media, and really just loving it.
So I want to dissect that a little bit. So the first thing you said was you fell in love with Diane right away. And I think most of us can relate to that. But what was it, or is it about her that really caught your attention?
She speaks my language. She has similar characteristics that I have. I'm direct. She just talks right to you. And I was like, okay, I get this. This is something I can, I can comprehend. And she just had a lot of information that made sense to me because I'm a health practitioner myself. And so anything that helps people get healthy the fastest way possible, I'm all for. So.
Okay, so I want to dive into that a little bit. So when someone says, I like you, what they're typically saying is, I am like you, right? When we see people that we can resonate with, that speak our language, and you said a lot of things about that. She's direct, so you don't want to beat around the bush. You want to get to the point. And you also recognize that patients want to get better fast.
Yeah.
So what was the first product that you fell in love with? And then tell me about your product evolution.
Yeah, I fell in love with King because it is the king. And then I had a black kick. I was like, oh, this is pretty good too. And of course I tried the spores and the mycelium and I didn't know I could wake up and not have any pain. Didn't know that was possible. Over 40 years old, you think, oh, this is how you feel. I've never felt better. I'm like, I'm 44. I've never felt better. So I'm like, hey, if I can do it, other people can do it. Why do you have to live with aches and pains? You don't.
All right. So Rachael, I'm gonna throw a little curveball. So far you mentioned black, you mentioned king, you mentioned mycelium, you mentioned spores. You didn't mention any of the products with sugar. So have you tried any of those just yet?
I have tried the latte and the mocha and the gourmet thing with the ginkgo in it. That
Okay.
one was my
Supreme.
least favorite. Latte I'll have for a treat. I'm not a big fan of all the additives in it just because I don't really like dairy or sugar.
Okay.
And the mocha is a nice treat too, but it has barley. And so people who are sensitive to gluten, I don't recommend that one.
Okay, so here we're going to expand on this concept a little bit because you and I started out the same. So I carrying Organo in my office for 10 months, and I did not set out a single product that had sugar. And then a patient threw me a curveball. I had a woman who was top 50 in the world in tennis, top 10 in the world of tennis for women over the age of 50. There we go. I got my numbers right. Top 10 for women over the age of 50. And she comes in with this absolute monstrous mocha with cream all over the top of it from Starbucks, which is less than 1,000 feet from my office. And when she walked in the door with that, I looked at that and I said, oh my gosh, how often do you drink that? She goes, oh, I'm addicted. I probably have 10 a week.
Wow.
And so I had bought a gold pack because I knew I wanted to build the business, but I put anything and everything that had sugar in my back room, never to be seen again. And I put the green tea, the red tea, the king, the black out front, and then the nutraceuticals. And I said, would you like to try a healthier option? She said, well, I'll try anything once. So I went in the back. I literally had to get the box opened and get the dust off of it. Then when I opened the box, I got the sachet. Good thing I didn't do that in front of her, right? So I came up with a real nice sachet in the front, mix it up for her, and she literally took one sip and she said, okay, that can't be healthy. And I said, well, why do you say that? She says, well, it's just too good. I had not done the comparison. So Organo has 1/3 the sugar and 1/2 the calories for 1/3 the price of the Starbucks and 1,000x the health benefits. So anyways, she left my office that day with a box of mocha. That was the week of Thanksgiving 9 years ago, and she lost 4 pounds that week. So she's been a great customer ever since, but Sachin Patel took it to another level. I don't know if you know who Sachin is, but we were doing a Ganoderma health talk. Diane Solano was there and she was serving, and Benita Organo at the back table. And Sachin said, well, we're going to try something. We're going to put a continuous blood glucose monitor on a volunteer. We're going to have you drink a mocha and we're going to see what happens to your sugar over the next 2 hours. Now, keep in mind, it was a healthy, fit male, but in 2 hours, his sugar didn't go up a single point. And there was a mad rush to the back table for the mocha, and it was gone in a matter of minutes. And when people saw that, we signed up 17 gold packs that day. So here's a fact. Our products with sugar are far better than what people are doing. And I always tell people, if you have a perfect diet, stay with your perfect diet. But if you don't, this is a better choice. So now, do you have any interesting patient or colleague or anybody testimonials for anything that you shared with somebody? And I'd like to hear a few of those if you could.
Sure. My aunt, 78, she started on the king and the spores. She was taking 1 spore per day because she couldn't tolerate more initially.
Yep.
And she noticed right away better memory. And more energy and less sinus drainage. So she's a fan. She's been reordering every month since February, I think. And I've also had other clients get less pain. I didn't mention the CXT. That's another favorite. I was lucky enough to get to try that before it came out, and I'm a big fan. So I like to use that pre and post workout. Anytime I need mental clarity or sustained energy, it is a go-to. I have a client whose kids use it nonstop. She can't even keep it stocked in her house. So they've all noticed better energy, less allergy reactions, better gut health. Just about all my clients are on the products and they all have something great to say about them.
So I want to say a few things. A little goes a long way, right? So your aunt is 78. She took 1 spore a day. And notice what we said, she couldn't handle any more than that. So there may be a couple of reasons. Ganoderma is very strong at promoting detox. And I tell patients that the symptoms of chronic poisoning include fatigue, sleep disturbance, intestinal distress, allergy symptoms, headaches, confusion, and anxiety. And people can have 1, 2, 3, or all 7 if they choose, and they can even add a few of their more if they like. It's a powerful anti-infective. It kills yeast, parasite, fungus, bacteria, viruses. It's proven to block replication of the HIV virus. And it's even proven against a popular virus that's out there now, although we can't make any claims, right? But if someone goes to pubmed.gov and types in Ganoderma lucidum and a popular virus, you'd be surprised that very top medical journals are showing that it's very helpful for that. But then you mentioned the CXT, which will be in Canada in the fall. Canada is an interesting place these days. They have some more challenging restrictions to work around, but this is going to have the Ganoderma, it's going to have the cordyceps, it's going to have the lion's mane, it's going to have a spore probiotic, it's got theanine, it's got some caffeine, some green tea extracts, some things that are beyond amazing to help brain function. People love the taste. It's smooth, it's simple, it's easy, and the energy is very, very smooth. But the way the whole cognition thing happened was we have a partnership with a company called NeuroTracker, which is a brain training company. And one of their scientists started consuming Organo products and noticed that their brain scores were so much better so fast. So Organo did a little trial. They did 300 people on the NeuroTracker technology, and the average Organo consumer, their brain improved 130% more than people that didn't consume Organo, and they had 20 years of data there. By the way, NeuroTracker, 53 published PubMed studies, a TED Talk. I just talked to a functional neurologist today who's excited to add it to his clinic. So there's so many different things that we can add. So now let's talk about the business. So you're a businesswoman. So tell me, first of all, about your other business. What's your other business?
So I'm a functional health practitioner, basically certified in functional medicine. I jumped into the virtual space about a year ago, and I'll be full-time doing that come July 29th. So yay me. It's my passion to help people heal at the root level with my own health crisis, as well as just seeing the results of working there with other clients. So this kind of feeds each other. I also work with chronic pain people and helping certify them for their medical marijuana card. So that helps too, because I'm like, hey, here's another plant. You like coffee, try this plant. And so they're kind of getting involved with some of the Rishi products as well. But for the business model, I have the intention of at least 2 distributors a week. And then I leave it up to the big universe to make it happen. And it's just happening. I guess I just have a pretty strong intention of building my business. And as I told Diane from the very beginning, I'll do what it takes. Just tell me what to do. And she literally has told me step by step what to do. And Natalie's been amazing. I would not be here without those two. And then, just getting Zoom calls booked. I think it's important to educate people about the products. I post a lot on my social media. They're not huge accounts yet. They will be eventually. But, just getting it out there and having friends, family, acquaintances. I've sent product to Louisiana. I don't know very many people in Louisiana, but your social media accounts reach a wide net. So I've had people reach out and say, hey, I want to try your products. So I'll send samples, bill them on a PayPal or Venmo account, and charge them $20 for a few little sample packs out of my pantry, just so they can try it. And so I'll get clients that way. And then they'll just drop out of the sky from I don't know where.
You're attracting very well, but I want to unwind this a little bit. So one, how many years of education did you need to become a functional medicine practitioner? What was the cost of that education? So let's go with time and cost to start that business.
So I probably took a more expensive, lengthy route than what you would actually need to do. I was certified as a nurse practitioner for 10 years prior to being a functional medicine practitioner. That education was probably 10 to 12 grand through the Institute for Functional Medicine, that certification. You can do it cheaper. There's cheaper processes to maybe just be like a health coach or a nutrition coach. Because in the online space, you don't really need all of that credentialing you kind of need to just know what you're doing.
Okay. So, well, I still want to unwind that a little further. So I'm assuming, did you get a BSRN, then a nurse practitioner?
Yeah, I was
So
a bachelor's and a master's. And then that took, 16 years, I guess, of education.
Okay, that's a ton of education.
Yeah.
Then you put into postgraduate another functional medicine. So we're talking.
Yeah, that was another 3 or 4
years. Tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. And what did it cost you to start your Organo business?
$1,600. I don't know. I bought the gold
that was
pack.
Including inventory. It cost you $50.
Yeah, I bought the gold pack right away. I was like all in. So whatever it was, I didn't get the promo discount.
So I'll share with you, someone asked me that question, and between my degrees, which I've spent a lot of time in school, undergraduate, then professional, then postgraduate. So, a decade of my life, $500,000 just to open my door and start treating patients, or $50, and then whatever I want to buy in terms of inventory. And now part-time effort has grown to a team of over 20,000 people in over 20 countries, generated over $30 million in sales. And I don't think I put even in as much time in Organo, maybe that I did even in my undergraduate education in terms of total hours.
That's a
So
true
this is the
statement.
business that pays. And as they've said, there's no dream too big for coffee. So 2 people a week is a very nice goal, and you're selling product packages, right? So 20 bucks, then you mix up a custom package for us. So here's another teaching point. When people pay, they pay attention.
Yeah.
So
I
many
was
times,
giving it for free initially. That didn't work out so well.
so you learn fast, right? That's the best teachers experience other people's if you're smart. And so you've learned that. And so, now you've been in half a year, you're platinum elite. That is amazing. What's next?
Oh, I'm going all the way to diamond as fast as I can. So
But you're following the right path.
I've got my mindset on walking across that stage if we get to meet in person.
We're going to. Organo has an expo coming up October 2 and 3. We'll talk about that. That one's going to be virtual. But then after that, we're going to have in-person meetings. So for those of you that are watching, here's a simple reality. So by the way, who invited you to the Zoom, that Diane had presented?
Oh, her name's Michelle Rogers. She did my mentorship for my virtual functional health. She was a student of Sachin,
Okay, and what
along with
did she
Natalie.
say to you that was effective at getting you to the Zoom?
She just kept saying, I drink this reishi mushroom coffee. And I kept wondering, what is that? And then she kept saying how great she felt on it and how she could have more than 1 cup a day. And I was like, I've never had coffee that made me feel that way. And I'm a very curious person. And I was like, I need to try this. And I don't remember if I tried it before the Zoom or after, but once I found it was yummy, I'm like, okay, I'm all in.
How many times did she invite you before you actually came to the Zoom? Do you recall that?
There was maybe 1 or 2. And I think the night Diane came on, it was in the middle of dinner and I had a million things going on, but for some reason I was able to listen, and it was just been meant to be, I guess.
And then the next question I might have is, have you met Diane in person just yet?
Oh no.
Okay, so what an amazing world. So you were virtually invited.
I've never met Michelle in person.
Oh, isn't that fascinating how the world
Yeah.
has changed? Then you got yourself a couple samples, you fell in love, and next thing you know, you're platinum elite half a year later on your way to diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're growing your social media presence and you're growing your team and you're selling samples. You've learned that really, really quick. So everybody that's watching, here's what I want to tell you. Someone invited you to this Zoom. If you haven't tried our product yet, try it. You're going to fall in love with it. For our healthcare practitioners, I've softened my stance on the sugar products, because if people are drinking a Starbucks mocha, I guarantee you they're better off with a Ganoderma mocha. And in time, so many things are going to get better. And when people fall in love with the product, I always tell them you have 3 options. You can be a retail customer, you can be a wholesale buyer, or you could get paid to consume or share the product. Which of those options is best for you? And most often they'll say, well, how does that work? How do you get paid? Well, now we have, videos in the Facebook groups, we can tag them. There's YouTube links you can send them to. They can watch the entire opportunity presentation. And a lot of people think, well, we just have coffee and tea. No, we have shakes, we have travel, we have all organic skincare. We've got a brain training system. We've got a brain line. We've got epic leadership that is going to take this company to the king of the direct sales or network marketing space. And there's no limit to how much you can get paid. Next question is, what's right for you? And never underestimate a person's willingness to join the business. One of my favorite stories is about the boxer Manny Pacquiao. So Pacquiao's earned $200 million in the boxing ring. Someone offered him a cup of coffee and he said, yeah, I don't drink coffee. It makes my heart race. Now, as a doctor, I wouldn't say what the next person said, but they said, well, this one won't. Try it, right? That's what the person said. I would say, well, this has something in it that's great for nitric oxide. It dilates blood vessels. It actually calms the heart. There's a really good chance that your heart will be better after drinking it. Why don't you try it? Proceed with caution. Well, Manny Pacquiao took a sip of that coffee. And as I heard the story, he sat back, he was waiting for his heart to race, but it didn't. So he took a bigger sip. Heart still not racing. Finished the whole cup. Felt pretty good. Had a second cup, had a third cup, had the workout of a lifetime. And then he said, how do I get more of this? Well, the person that introduced him said, well, you have three options. You can be a retail customer. I'm happy to sell it to you. For a small fee, you can be a wholesale buyer. That's $50. Or I know you're a humanitarian who wants to make the world better. With your influence, you could help thousands, maybe tens of thousands of families with their health and wealth. Which would you like to do? Well, he chose to help the families, and he became a diamond very fast in Organo. And by the way, the person that introduced him earned over $1 million the following year. So you don't have to know Manny Pacquiao. You can get paid 9 levels deep. So you just know someone who knows 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 someone like Manny Pacquiao, and the same thing could happen for you. The company has 3 packs. We call them good, better, or best. A bronze pack is about $250 worth of product. You get paid more on a bronze pack than if you just sign up as a distributor. There's a silver pack, about $450 worth of product, and it pays a time and a half as much as the bronze pack. Or the gold pack, Rachael, which you went for, Canada, $1,600, US, $1,200, and that one pays the most right away. So if you're serious about the business, you get that pack. One of my mentors is Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn became a multimillionaire in network marketing in the 1960s. He was a college dropout and really struggling when he was introduced to this business model. But when he would wrap up his presentations, he would do it with these 4 questions, and here they are. The first question is, why? Why did you take the time to join us tonight? There's so many other things you could do. Second question is to answer the first, why not? You have an opportunity to join a company that's in 38 countries, crossed $1 billion in sales in their first 5 years, and is growing exponentially, and you join for $50 plus your initial inventory. Next question is, why not you? Someone's going to fall in love with the product just like Rachael did, start sharing it and growing an amazing business fast. And the final question is, why not now? So here's the reality. The longer you wait to act on information, the least likely you are to act on it. So another person of the hour, and I know Diane is wearing many hats. She's mompreneuring. She also is, I guess you could call daughterpreneuring. She takes care of her mother as well. But Diane, I know you caught almost all of that. Rachael, her opening statement was that she absolutely fell in love with you right away. And, you know, so many thumbs up, we could all agree that that's very easy to do. But, you know, you've helped her through this path. What have you noticed, and what advice do you have for people that might be thinking, I'm not sure if it's right for me?
Hello, Dr. Bob, and congratulations, Rachael. Big shout out. Here's one thing. I met Rachael on the night I did the event, and immediately within 24 hours, I got a message from her. I don't even remember the details, but she was like, tell me more. And as soon as we had a follow-up conversation, because I did follow up with the people that attended and that were very curious and interested. So I could feel she was hungry, and she's like, you know what, this just feels right. Let's do it. So I was just really candid going, if you really want this, you got to be willing, coachable, and hungry. That's what it's going to take. Everything else, we can fill in the gap. This is a learn as you earn process. But if you want this bad, then it's go time. And I will match your efforts. I will always match your efforts. I will never push anyone into anything they're not comfortable with, but I will ask you to stretch and grow just a little bit past your comfort level. And that's exactly what happened with Rachael. So she's new to the industry, just like I was. And she wanted a different future for herself. And I relate to that. So there was a fire in her that I could spot. And that's where I said, look, this is the next step. And everything that I asked her to do without doubt was done, without question was done. And I would just drop her voice notes because, again, I will match the effort. So when I give an assignment and a person comes back and completes it, then that's when I know I can work with someone really closely. And that's exactly what happens. So every month, every week, every couple of weeks. And then, of course, you know, her team starts growing. So now we have new people joining, new VIPs break in every month. Natalie Morse, you know, I'm pulling her in and she's part of the upline because now I have many cooks in the kitchen. It's not just one person anymore. So it's powerful because Natalie now has been taking over and now she's doing events with the girls. And it's all about conversation. How many conversations are you having with people around the business or the product? It needs to happen, whether it's on Zoom, in person, and on stage, on your webinars, on your Facebook Lives, neighbor to neighbor. It doesn't matter. It's all around how many conversations can be had. The best indicator of your income will be your calendar. I'll never forget, that was the advice I heard from one of the top leaders many years ago when I started. Tell me what's in your calendar and I will predict your income. How many events have you planned for yourself and your team? How many are already scheduled? How many three-way calls? How many follow-ups? Like, what do you have scheduled outside of these weekly meetings? I mean, these are great, but this is not going to, it's not going to magically come together for you. You need to have those conversations. And that's exactly what Rachael, Natalie, and the team did. It was all about filling up their calendars. When I was doing events, they would invite to my events. They would create their own. They would create their own things. And this is the magic behind it all. So one thing I got to really express is that I have many people who do health and wellness that are professionals that do nothing with the business because the coachability isn't there yet. And that's okay. We're going to meet them where they're at. We're going to love them. And I have many people. Bianca's a perfect example. No health background whatsoever. No clue whatsoever. Willing, coachable, hungry. Single mom, boom, hit platinum. Same thing. Willing, coachable, hungry, did it. And this is really what it's all about is, are you willing, are you coachable, and are you hungry? And all three need to exist to have that shift. But let me tell you, it is worth it. I know nothing else in the world that will change your life. For $50, scale your time, scale your income, scale your influence, scale your actual personal development. Nothing, you name it. I challenge you. Show me something for $50 that will unlock all of that in a community that will embrace you for lifetimes to come, because that's all we've done and been known for. So that's my share with you, Dr. Bob. And congratulations again, Rachael.
Well, that is beyond awesome. If you are a guest, you're welcome to stay. On Wednesdays, we transition to training. So a number of us have invested in a gentleman named Eric Worre. And Eric Worre has a program where he has $1 million earners. I've got to figure out how to find my PowerPoint. I got to get rid of that one. There we go. And today he did the training. So he has a lifetime earning in network marketing somewhere in the neighborhood of $15 million. And he hasn't done it in a decade and a half. He's been training other people, but he now coaches over 100 of the world's $1 million a year earners. So we've been getting a lot of good feedback on the new format of having conversations. So we're going to continue that. So Rachael, again, congratulations. Next week, we're going to have Brendan Coates. The following week, Delina Wint. Then Natalie Morse on the 28th, Karen Timer on August 4. And we will, continue with this, and you can learn from different people and different strategies. And that's really what I like about this business. If you've been in the business longer, Organo has their We Miss You program. We have reached out to, and I think so far we've reactivated 10 different people. One person put in a $700 order. Another person put in a $593 order. So somehow, some way, they were really missing the products and they were ready to get started again. Remember, these promotions are all designed to build your business. So go through your back office, figure out who hasn't ordered in a while. I posted in the OG family group how to maximize the We Missed You program with back office explanations that as well. Expo 2021, October 2 and 3. It's going to be virtual. World experts from all over the globe. And remember, events are how you build your business better than anything else. If you attend, you'll learn a lot. If you bring your team, you will earn a lot. And then we have Eric Worre's Go Pro. the budget for speakers is something like $5 million. They're going to have some amazing guests and superstars. This is December 3 through 5. Right now, Eric Worre's admission is $197. Diane and I have made a big investment in tickets. And so the current price is $127. I would encourage you to buy a ticket for yourself and as many people as you plan to bring at that price. And the price will go up. We've learned that from Eric Worre as well. So don't know when our next increase will be, but we will increase in parallel with Eric. And we have 2 free bonus courses valued at $600. So today, Eric's Zoom, he talked about how to grow your business in the summer. That was topic number 1, and how to get unstuck. And so it's just a reality that most businesses have a summer slump. They go down. People take their eye off the prize. It doesn't have to be that way. So if most people aren't working, if you are, you can really stand out. And, I love the Aesop's fable of the ant and the grasshopper. And if, you need a recall of what that was, the ant basically worked all summer, and when winter came around, he had all that he needed for a great winter, whereas the grasshopper was begging for food, right? So we want to be in a position where we're in great shape. John Maxwell, I love this quote, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, shows the way." And Rachael, that's why we highlighted you. You're doing all of that. And Diane, same thing, right? So Rachael is teachable, coachable, hungry, and you are willing to do the work. And like you said, whatever you do, I'll match, just stretch you a bit. So Eric Worre talked about, there's what you could do, there's what you should do, and then there's what you actually do. And, there shouldn't be a big gap between those things. And if there is, he says, you know what? You want to figure out how serious you are about this business. And he asked, how reliable are you if you have another job or business? And you look in the chat and there was thousands of people and they all basically rated themselves an 8, 9, or a 10. Well, then he asked, okay, if your network marketing company were to rate you and pay you over the last 90 days for the work that you've done in the business that you built, how would you rate that? What would you pay yourself? And those numbers were dismal. So as a general rule, when people have their own business, they don't tend to work real well. So as leaders, we tend to give micro assignments, and we'll give you an assignment, by the end of this as well. And Eric Worre said, you want to pick your primary. No one can serve 2 masters. And he said, you can be part-time in network marketing, but that can be where your primary focus and energy is. And, if you need a job to pay the other bills, or you want another business, you can do that, but always do the network marketing gig. And a simple quote, right? So many people are working to build someone else's dream. Why not work to build your own? Eric quoted this book from Grant Cardone. And Grant Cardone is a big fan of being obsessed or being average. For a season, be obsessed about growth, or even day to day, say, okay, this day I'm gonna really go all out. And the more of those you add up, the bigger and better your business will be. Steve Martin wrote a book entitled Born Standing Up, because he was a stand-up comic from early on. And within that book is an idea that you want to be so good that people cannot ignore you. So excellence wins. And I've read this book, So Good They Can't Ignore You, by Cal Newport. He also wrote the book Deep Work. If you are an excellent networker, you will definitely make your mark. Eric's a big fan of committing to just small things, having your minimum. What if your minimum is just asking one person a day, I've got something I want your opinion on. Would you take a few minutes and review a video that I have and give me your honest feedback? You could send them a shortened version of the opportunity presentation. One person, hey, I've got a healthy coffee and tea. I'd like you to try it. Please, would you do that? Right? So whatever it is, pick a tiny habit, pick your minimum, and then on a day where you feel better, do a little more than that. this guy kind of expanded the concept of fail fast, fail forward. And he said, fail better. And I like that as well. Get better with each attempt. And John Harimza wrote a book entitled Right or Almost Right. This is a guy that was a dyslexic welder and has earned to date $30 million in network marketing. And what was he good at? He was good at setting up a three-way call. And why was he good at that? He didn't feel good about talking to people. You know, I found something that's really amazing. I'm not very good at explaining it. I want to connect you to one of my really successful friends and let him tell you about the business. And that's how he's recruited people all the way through. If you can learn to point to someone that's better at you at explaining it, one, it takes all the pressure off of you. It's very duplicatable, and it will likely build your business. And Eric said his favorite way to get unstuck is to take his 20 and 30, recruit 20 and 30 program. And that is available to everybody. So then he did some live coaching with this woman. And he, you know, she said, okay, I'm really stuck. What do I do? And Eric said, well, recruit 20 and 30. Well, her first month, she didn't get 20. She signed up 9, but she kept following up. And in her second month, she signed up 10. So think about that. Have you recruited 19 people in the last 2 months? If not, you might consider that strategy. And then Diana, I might just pause here and see if you want to add anything to that.
Dr. Bob, this is really an energy-based business. When you're focused and you're at that place where come hell or high water, this is going to happen because your belief in your ability to do this is there. You don't have to be perfect, but the fact that you can see it is key. You know, you can believe in the product. There's no doubt there whatsoever. Are you kidding me? Like, try. I mean, we've had every single health expert under the planet try to poke a hole in it and nothing, like nothing. In fact, they come back. Brendan Coates is a perfect example of that. That is going to be a great interview where, remember, he was so skeptical. His arms were crossed. Dr. Bob tested the product. He was so shocked. He tried to poke every single hole in it, came back, lit up as a light bulb because he couldn't believe the studies he found. He did a pH test on the coffee live on YouTube with no idea what result he was going to get. And it came back neutral, alkaline. So this is where we know the product works. We know the company's growing. We know the industry's real. There are $1 million earners, guys. If you didn't catch that, pots and pans, press on nails. Like, come on. Are you kidding me? We haven't scratched the surface. This is a cup of coffee people want outside of the business model. Can you share a cup of coffee and follow up? So when you know that, the only thing that's left is your ability to see it for yourself. And maybe you can't see diamond, but can you see VIP? Can you see and stay at VIP? If that's all you need right now, just to get a little solid, but you need to start seeing it for yourself. The minute that switch turns on, everything in your world will change. Everything. And it doesn't mean it's going to be super smooth. You're going to learn, you're going to have bumps, but it will be transformational. You will not go back. But isn't that why we're here? Is because we want something else. In order for things to change, you have to change. I had to change. I had to get out of my pity party. I had to step out of my comfort zone. I couldn't rely on Dr. Bob to do presentations on me. I was the only one in Toronto. There was no Zoom presentations, guys. I was doing this all at home parties, dragging my son through the snow. And I wanted a new life. You got to want this for you too. And we're here to match that effort. Back to you, Dr. Bob.
I'm going to give the assignment and then we'll open it up for questions. So this was a question that was submitted to Eric Worre. This person said, you know, my network marketing business has been dominant for the past 7 months, but I don't see results which I was hoping for. What's wrong with me? Well, everybody has a learning curve. And I think Eric Worre said, you know, sometimes I win, sometimes I learn. This person just has a longer learning curve. But one of the things that I really like is a trainer named Tom Big Al Schreider. And he says, okay, you can score yourself as a network. So he says, score each of these categories anywhere from 0 to 10. And I want you to do this. I want you to pull out a piece of paper. And the first question is, how many people do you talk to about Organo each day? If it's 0, you get a 0. If it's 10 or more, you get a 10. And of course, then you can figure out the numbers in between. Now, what's the quality of the prospects? Is my screen actually sharing? I wonder.
No, Dr. Bob,
It is or it isn't?
it is not.
Let me do that again. Now we have it. What is the quality of the people that you're talking to? So Big Al used two different analogies. He says, if you're a prison guard in Mongolia and you're talking to prisoners all day long, that's probably a 0. If you're a kindergarten teacher and you only tell your kindergarten students about it, that might be a 0. So, do you have people that can actually join the business, 18 or older? And, then you rate the quality of your prospects. What's your skill level? Again, 0 to 10. I don't know that anybody out there is a 10 in terms of skills, but, let's use someone like Eric Worre, who, when he got really, really good, 3 of 10 people that he talked to would either become a customer or a business builder. That's pretty good skill level. How likable are you? And this is very, very important. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And, that one can be a tough one to grade yourself on. But be honest. I've never met a 10 in terms of likability. Some people 9s, but, I think the people I hang with are highly above average. That's probably why I like them. They're likable. And then finally, what's your self-esteem? And that one makes a big difference too, because that's going to determine your vibration. Now you multiply all the numbers out. So a 0 in any category zeroes everything out. So think about that. And this will be a big part of how you will build your business. So if you're brave, your homework assignment is to send me your score and your plan to get better. And by the way, your plan might be, I'm not sure, I'm going to reach out to my plugged in upline and we'll go from there. So Diane, back to you. Any questions or comments about today's training?
No, Dr. Bob, but I do want to make a comment that I'm really happy that we're getting the other leaders to share on the call, because I think it's really important that the team hear from everyone else's stories and their journey through it. Because I think sometimes when you become the diamond, and I remember hearing this from the diamonds when I first started, where it just seems so far away and unreachable to me, that I started to dissociate with them a little bit because it just seemed so far away. But then when I would hear the breakthrough of someone at a lower pin or someone that was closer, or I don't know, just something else would spark. So I really encourage, if you're on this call tonight, really make a point of inviting your team out to be a part of it again the week, next week and the week after. It's really, really going to feed your business, and ultimately it's going to feed you. And if you've heard these calls a lot, you should be making notes, because the best way to learn anything is to curate the content you hear. A sentence that I say or Dr. Bob says, I mean, that's what I do as a leader. Many times in the past, I've had people going, well, I've heard it already. If you want to win in this, once you've heard it, your next goal should be, how can I now teach it? And the minute you step into those shoes, you are now stepping into leadership. And that has a whole new result in your life. You will attract things a lot faster because you're starting to show up differently. And you guys have heard me talk about these Zooms in many, many times in the past. And I'm going to repeat myself. The universe is always listening. So what you're not doing is also making a decision, right? Not doing something, not doing that event, not doing that 3-way, not doing the follow through, not doing that presentation, not doing that follow-up, is you making a decision to not do it, which ultimately is a vibrational signature you're sending out to the universe. So I'll plant that seed for you guys. Thank you so much for sharing, Dr. Bob.
Well, thank you all. You all deserve a big pat on the back. And remember, send me, if you're brave, your score and your plan to get better. And Dr. Paul, I want to take a second, because I just started the Richard Bliss Momentum Masterclass, and I already love the first session. Do you want to say a few words about that?
Well, I'm a huge fan of Richard Bliss. I did the beta test, which he called it Run to Rank, last August, September. And I just find he breaks it down to so much granular. And he brings in the emotion with the training, which I just resonate really, really well with. I know there's a few other people on this call that have taken the course as well. And I think they would also agree with me that if you want a detailed training, I don't think I found somebody as good as Richard Bliss. He motivates me. Again, I will be taking that course again very shortly. I'm sure he takes it for 2 months. It's a 2-month program. Then he golfs for a month or scuba dives for a month, and then he does it again. So it's always there. And I think it's a great idea to hop on board. Full endorsement.
Okay. And by the way, the course is $297 US, and he basically guarantees you, if you do the work, you will 10x your investment in those 2 months. So that seems worthwhile. That's why I'm doing it. And I love Richard. So, all right. Well, if you want to unmute and wave, and then next week, same time, same thing, and different speaker, Brendan Coates, and we'll learn the stories and we'll find different building strategies.
Thank you. Love you. Love everybody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bob. Always bring awesome information to all of us. Thank you.
Great job,
Rachel, you're
Rachel.
heading the
Thanks,
right
guys.
direction, my girl.
Thank you, Dr. Bob.
Working on it.
Thank you, Dr. Bob.
You're doing
Congratulations,
wonderful.
Rachel.